You call it laziness. But laziness doesn't keep you up at night rehearsing the moment everything finally collapses. That's not someone who doesn't care. That's someone who cares so much about the wrong life that they're quietly engineering a way out. One missed deadline, one half-finished project, one silent yes at a time. This video is about that, about the part of you that isn't failing, it's escaping, and why the most dangerous thing about it is that you'll spend years calling it a character flaw instead of a strategy. You wake up before the house does. The kitchen is dark except for the light above the stove. You fill the kettle, lean against the counter, and stare at nothing in particular. In 20 minutes, the day begins. Emails, obligations, the version of yourself that other people need. But right now, in the quiet before all of that, something sits in your chest that you can't quite name. It's not dread, exactly. It's closer to the feeling of wearing clothes that almost fit. You built this life carefully, made the right moves, took the responsible path, showed up when it mattered. From the outside, it looks like exactly what it's supposed to look like. And that's the problem, because from the inside, it has never felt like yours. You've told yourself it's a motivation problem, that you just need to want it more, push harder, find the right system. But the systems don't stick, and the pushing always runs out. And in the silence before the house wakes up, you already know why. You can't sustain momentum towards something you secretly hope will end. You're not lazy. You're living someone else's life and running out of reasons to pretend otherwise. Here's what nobody tells you about self-sabotage. It's not weakness. It's problem solving. At some point, and you probably can't name exactly when, part of you made a calculation. Quitting feels like failure. Admitting you want out feels like betrayal of the people who believed in you, of the years already spent, of the version of yourself that said yes to all of this. So you didn't quit. You found a smarter exit. You stopped finishing things just before the finish line. You let the urgent email sit a little too long. You took on more than you could carry, then blamed yourself for dropping it. You created the conditions for a collapse that would look like circumstance, not choice, so that when it finally fell apart, it wouldn't be because you walked away. It would just be because it didn't work out. The exhaustion you feel isn't from the work. It's from the performance of wanting it. Every morning you show up and play the part. Capable, reliable, almost fine. Every night you go over the list of things you didn't finish, telling yourself tomorrow will be different. But a quieter part of you, the part that runs the actual calculations, knows that tomorrow won't be different. Because you are not trying to succeed. You are trying to make it acceptable to stop. You're not procrastinating. You're building a case. The strategy works for a while. The problem is what it costs. The first thing it takes is your self-trust. Every time you don't follow through, you file it as evidence. Proof that you can't be relied on, that you don't have what it takes, that the laziness diagnosis was right all along. You never connect it to the fact that the goal was never yours. You just absorb the failure and add it to the case against yourself. The second thing it takes is time. The slow exit is slow. Years pass inside a life that almost fits, waiting for the collapse that keeps getting postponed. You get better at maintaining the surface, more efficient at pretending, and the gap between who you are in the quiet before dawn and who you are by 9 a.m. becomes something you stop thinking about because thinking about it doesn't help. The third thing it takes is your voice. You stop asking what you actually want because the question feels dangerous. Wanting something means risking it. Naming a direction means being accountable to it. So instead, you wait for a sign, for permission, for the life you're living to finally become obviously unsustainable enough that leaving it isn't a choice, it's just what happened. You start to wonder if you'd recognize your own voice if you heard it. And underneath all of it, the loneliness of this is particular because you are surrounded by people who think they know you, who rely on the version of you that shows up and holds it together. None of them know about the part that is quietly, patiently waiting for something to break. The kitchen is quiet. The kettle clicks off. You pour the water and hold the mug with both hands, and for a moment you let yourself feel the weight of what you've been carrying. Not the workload, the pretending. Most people never see this pattern clearly. It hides inside the language of failure, laziness, procrastination, lack of discipline, so it never has to be examined as what it actually is, a survival response to a life that stopped fitting. You didn't break, you adapted. The adaptation just came at a cost you were never fully told about. The moment you see it for what it is, something shifts. Not dramatically. The mug is still warm. The day still starts in 20 minutes. But the story changes from I keep failing at this life to I have been trying to leave this life for years without admitting it. And those are not the same story. The first one indicts you. The second one asks a different question entirely. What would you build if you stopped sabotaging the wrong thing and started choosing the right one? You don't have to answer that now, but you can stop calling it laziness. Recognition is the first act of return, not a solution, but a fracture in the automatic. The part of you that's been running the slow exit in the background is not broken. It has been trying to protect you from a life that was never going to fit. What it needs now is not more discipline. It needs a direction that's actually yours. There is a next step after noticing. It starts here, in the quiet, before the day begins. The pattern we've been describing, the slow sabotage, the engineered collapse, the exhaustion of performing a life that doesn't fit, has a shape. It doesn't arrive randomly. It forms around something specific in how you're wired to move through the world, what you were taught to want, and what you learned it cost to want something different. The free InnerCodex archetype reading below uses your birth date, birth time, and birthplace to identify which of 144 patterns is operating beneath the surface, including where this particular exit strategy comes from, what it's been protecting, and what it's quietly costing you. It won't hand you a new life, but it will show you the architecture of the one you've been trying to leave, and where, underneath all of it, your actual direction has been waiting. The link is below.